it's an old thing, isn't it? When somebody starts, slagging off somebody to you, you tend to think, well, come on, mate, come on. You didn't get the worst deal of hands in life ever,
Well, Tom, it is great to see you. It's always great to chat. And
thanks,
I know
Christina.
Of course. And I know that we have Prince Harry's memoir around the corner. We don't know exactly when it's going to be released, but a lot of people have been talking about it, yourself included. So what have you heard about this memoir?
So literally, it has been kept under lock and key. So they are being extremely secretive about what's in it. The only thing that we have been told so far is what Prince Harry said about it, which is that it's going to be entirely honest and truthful. It's going to be written not as the prince he was born, but as the man he has become. It's going to contain his hard-worn lessons of his life and his teacher, focus on the things that bring us together, because you may think that, Harry's very different to you, but this memoir is going to show how much we're all the same. So, it's the usual, to be frank, what we've heard so far is the usual platitudes of publishers. What we haven't heard, which is odd at this stage, is we haven't heard when the book is coming out, what it's going to be called, what the cover's going to look like. There's not even a holding page on Amazon. So nobody really knows exactly what the book is going to be called, what it's going to be, anything.
Right.
And I think it's really fascinating because on one hand, look, I'm going to read the book. What was it like coming down to breakfast at Balmoral that morning, after hearing his mother had died in a car crash? What were those moments like? I really wonder whether this kind of narrative that's gained a bit of ground, that it's going to be all about, sticking machetes in the back of the royals and doing one over on his father. I just really doubt that's going to be the case. I think frankly, it made them look petty. I think the kind of, it's an old thing, isn't it? When somebody starts, slagging off somebody to you, you tend to think, well, come on, mate, come on. You didn't get the worst deal of hands in life ever, So I think if he's smart, he will have realized that, that is not the way to go and focus very much more on himself. For me, the really fascinating thing about it is he going to talk about his partying? Is he going to talk about drug use? Is he going to talk about alcohol use? And is he perhaps going to disclose that he's in recovery? Which I think is a real possibility. His ghostwriter, J.R. Moehringer, has written a lot of recovery-themed books. He himself is kind of well-known in the kind of 12-step community, And so I think that, to me, would be the most brilliant way for Harry to answer all his critics and provide an amazing book, but also not be accused of, sticking it to other people. If it was, my name is Harry and I am, XYZ,
right?
That would be incredible. And, it's interesting because Harry was very hard partying in his youth. He drank a lot, he partied a lot, there was instances where he was caught smoking marijuana and that kind of thing. And there were always, rumors of his sort of partying days. His girlfriend, Chelsea Davy, and him were very sort of hard partying in London in the kind of up to about 2010, they split up. But then Cressida as well was, they were just on the scene in London. You'd see them at nightclubs, and there were, of course, loads of instances of Harry, falling out of nightclubs, punching photographers, attacking photographers, doing crazy things under the influence of drink. And it's really interesting when you, like his interview with Dax Shepard, the armchair expert, very much the language of recovery, that anybody, who has been in recovery, has friends in recovery would really recognize, So for me, it will feel weird if there's not a large bit about what was, even if it's not, traditional, what we might think of like AA, I'm sober or what have you. But even if it's, recovery from like the emotional stress or, it's such a broad church these days, but it seems to me that he does seem to use that language a lot. And so I think that would be fascinating. I sort of struggle to see what else gives it the worth $20 million. When frankly, you can have any number of people. You can have Tom Bower writing, the terrible story of Harry or this or that or the other. So what is it that gives it that enormous credibility? And I'm fascinated to see. I mean, I'm very excited, and I think it will be a terrific book. But exactly what it contains, I got to be honest with you, nobody knows right now. 3 people know: Harry, the ghostwriter, and the publisher. Exactly. And Meghan.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.